part of the security drill this morning. Someone apparently unaware that there was a security drill saw these personnel with weapons, phoned it in as an active shooter, and then of course the base had to treat it for real, even though they realized that there was a drill going on, but they didn't know that the person who saw the folks didn't know there was a drill. So it's just one of those confused situations. But, you know, they did what they're supposed to do. They took it seriously. They shut it down. And as I say, I expect here in a while this will all be over.
Well, and let's emphasize that because of the serious nature of that report and what it triggered, they went into the proper safety protocol necessary to make sure that that facility would remain safe, and now they are going through the process, and I think you remarked on this before, they have to go through that full protocol of checking off the boxes to make sure that it's clear, correct?
Exactly. I mean, it would be strangely ironic if this confused report masked the fact that there really was something going on. So they have to be double sure, and that's why this is taking a while to resolve.
Okay, again, if you're just joining us, we've been watching over the last roughly almost hour now what's taking place at Joint Base Andrews, where there was a scheduled drill to take place at their medical facility. Someone on site, according to our Pete Williams from the third floor, witnessed members of the drill operation carrying long guns and phoned in a report about the potential of an active shooter on the base. The drill then triggers into what would be a real-time lockdown. Then we have reports via Twitter from Joint Base Andrews telling people what was going on to shelter in place. They were encouraging people that they believed that there was an active shooter. So then we had reporters from WRC, that's our local NBC affiliate, getting on the ground there and talking about what they were witnessing, what they were able to report from the scene in front of the gates, that they did not sense a serious frantic situation or a chaotic situation, but there was a bigger presence on the scene to make sure that they were taking this with the proper seriousness and to execute the safety protocol involved. Luke Russert is now on the scene. And Luke, maybe you can fill in some of the gaps. We were watching a shot of one of the throughways into the medical center, and we've been seeing family members, folks that may have gotten treatment there, escorted out. But how close are you able to get?
I'd say we're probably about a half mile. I mean, the way Andrews Air Force Base is situated is there are a bunch of different entrances, and we're closer to the main entrance. And I got to tell you, Thomas, on my drive over here from the Capitol, there were dozens of emergency personnel vehicles that were speeding by me. I had to pull over to the side of the road at one point to let them by. They were coming in and out of this gate, so there's obviously palpable tension in and around the base due to these reports that had come in of a possible active shooter. There was a few times some traffic snarls, traffic being stopped so emergency vehicles could move forward. I counted 3 different fire departments and police departments that had moved forward to that base. Obviously, the base is very well secured of and of itself, being a military installation. But at least outside, the tension's real. This is something that possibly was happening. So if in fact the all clear comes in soon and this was a big misunderstanding, which these things happen, then that would be all great. But to echo what Pete said, you have to be very careful and you have to clear every single room, because I remember we spoke a few months ago when there was a shooting at the Capitol, and that actually happened on the same exact day that there was one of these drills. Sometimes it's just an ironic twist of fate, and so I think that's where we are now, is just to make sure everything's all on the clear. But there was tension around the base, without doubt.
All right, so Luke Russert on the scene for us there. Luke, thank you, sir. We know from our Pete Williams, who spoke to one of his senior law enforcement sources, saying that someone on the 3rd floor of the Malcolm Medical Facility, which was under a drill this morning, witnessed 2 people walking with long guns across the campus there and phoned in what they saw. And that triggered this active shooter situation on Joint Base Andrews, where they went into lockdown mode. And they updated people via social media. So we saw tweets, we saw information via Facebook talking about personnel sheltering in place and how they were operating out of this abundance of caution because of the seriousness of that report. Jim Kavanaugh is still with me. And Jim, let's talk about that, because we are a society on edge right now. We seem to talk about this constantly. I mean, I know we just got back from Orlando, and then we move on to what's happening out of Turkey. And we're still getting updates about the overnight raids of that, which we'll talk about later in this hour. But